Okay, guys, let's talk about this crazy what's going in France. So, complete tyranny. They've closed down C8, which is a big channel in France. It includes Cnews, which is the #1 most watched news channel in France. Right wing, and they shut down the whole channel. Right, that is what's happened in France. Remember, this is the same France that also bans Rumble. Right, Rumble is the right wing YouTube. I actually watched the Joe Rogan, Peter McCullen thing that actually got massive. I think it's his biggest one. But I watched it on there. It's banned in France, and now they're only. It's not just a right wing news channel. It is the only right wing news source in France has been taken off air. This is a week after J.D. Vance's speech about Europe destroying freedom, and what I worry most about is GB News, because in the UK we've got GB News and they put stuff like this that I don't think anyone would put. It's not I don't think, I know no one would put this on. Certainly not the absolute left-wing psychos on the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Sky News, all hard left. It's not even trying to be passive. Hard left media, what they do. Let's see if they would put anything like this on their channel.
Today, Hamas dug up and paraded the coffins carrying the bodies of Jewish babies and their mother. How did these poor, oppressed, lovely Palestinians react? Those barbarians cheered. They celebrated the fact that Hamas murdered Jewish babies. And look at this. They came out to line the streets to watch those coffins go by, celebrating again. Fathers took their own children in their arms to gleefully watch as dead Jewish children were returned to Israel.
I mean, you're dealing with a BBC that calls the Hamas prisoners, they call them prisoners, they call them, I don't know what they refuse to call them terrorists, even though they're a UK prescribed terrorist organisation. They refuse to call them that. You're not going to get that kind of media anywhere else. Now, what happened to GB News? GB News has basically suffered what? This Cnews in France is just a more advanced version of what is happening to GB News. So GB News, look at their initial journalists and look who they have now. Initially, we had Dan Wootton fired. We had Lawrence Fox fired. We had the Reverend fired. We had Mark Dolan fired. We had, Mark Stein fired. All their main big hitters, all fired. All fired. All you have now is I can't even watch it. It's other than that. So what he's given there is a monologue. He will then have to go to a panel with a hardcore leftist in there, give the hardcore leftist as much free time as the right-wing person, and then they have to close the discussion like that. Clearly, it's insane. I can't watch it. It's too left-wing even for me. Why do I have to watch that guy? Why do I have to watch a lie? Ofcom forces you to have a lie there, but the BBC and Sky News and ITV don't ever have to have anyone from the right. In fact, BBC's Question Time, I remember, regarding shutting down their conversation, should we shut down GB News, didn't have a single right-wing person on there in their panel, and all of them said, yes, we should shut them down. That is called fair and impartial, but GB News are forced to have a left-wing psycho in every single one of their panels. I mean, but that is what they have to do in order to stay alive. And I think they will be taken off air. I mean, again, as I said, Cnews in France, again, they're the #1 most watched channel. GB News is beating Sky, but it's still behind the BBC. How anyone still watches the BBC? I mean, just shows you how woke the UK is. But yes, people still watch the BBC more than GB News, which is just absolutely shocking. But yeah, So that's what we get. This is what we get in the UK. And I'm very worried that GB News has already watered down everything, and I reckon they'll still get taken off. Now let's remember, C8 was the supporter of Marine Le Pen. In France, the head, Bardella, I believe, the younger head of the National Party in France, Marine Le Pen's party, he had one radio interview a month ago. That guy got fired. He's done one radio interview, and that person who interviewed him got fired, because you're not allowed to give them any coverage at all in France. And that is the number one party in France, by the way, right? Marine Le Pen's. No coverage is allowed for them. That is the kind of democracy you're allowed. This is the same one that in Romania overturned the Romanian elections, the EU, even though they won, the right wing won. 2/3 of Romanians feel it shouldn't have been overturned. Don't care. Was overturned. We've got Austria, Freedom Party won there. Don't care. No one will make a coalition back to elections. AfD soon will win in Germany. No one is going to allow them in the party. You're not voting your way out of this. The media there is no freedom, as we've seen C8 shut down. I think GB News is next. This is madness, guys. This is beyond tyranny. This is beyond Stasi. It's beyond Russia. It's where we are. We are in the Russia-China kind of tyrannical hellhole. And you guys think you're in a free, democratic, free country. You're not. You're not.